All right, an exhilarating and exhausting weekend here in Revolution Pro Wrestling. We were over in Wolverhampton, of course, just 48 hours ago for Summer Sizzler. We've just come off the air live in Sheffield. Dave Bradshaw here with Revolution Pro Wrestling booker and owner Andy Quildan. Andy, lots to talk about. First thing, though, I want to talk about is a serious situation that we saw at the start of our second half today. Amira, who had not been medically cleared to be here, chose to come out to help out her tag team partner, Zoe Lucas, who was being attacked after the bell by Alexxis Falcon. It seemed like she lost her equilibrium, Amira, during that exchange. Falcon then struck her one more time, although to be fair, I don't think Falcon had seen that Amira was struggling, and then obviously the medics came down. Can you give us any medical update on Amira?
Yeah, so the medics have checked her over, and obviously it's one of those things where we have to kind of wait and see how things go. But the advice what we've been given is she's going to be fine. She is. I don't want to say she's fine, but she's very rocked and shaken by what happened. But she's been advised to take some time out, some time away, and stuff will get assessed. You know, basically as the days go on, stuff will get assessed more. She can't really remember what happened in the ring. I don't really know how much I can actually say about the situation. But bottom line is, she's fine. Or she's going to be fine. And like you say, Alexxis Falcon, I spoke to her afterwards as well, and she felt horrible about kind of what happened and the way it happened. So, this isn't, it was unfortunate that strike happened when it did, but it wasn't malicious.
No.
There was no malicious intent behind it, and the second she realised something was wrong, it was really Zoe that realised something was wrong. She called Alexxis away, and we
let the medics do their work.
Yeah, we let the medics do work. So best wishes to Amira, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing her back very, very soon.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Amira's partner Michael Oku was also here in action. He was medically cleared to compete.
Both of his teeth.
Yeah, only just. I think it was. It must have been. Yeah, pretty much a borderline decision, because he clearly wasn't 100% against Liam Slater. Not physically, but not mentally either, I don't think, because it was very uncharacteristic, the final moments of that match. We saw Oku locking in the half crab. Slater made it to the bottom rope, but Oku refusing to release the hold. Slater, quite honestly, then rubbed salt in the wound with his comments after the match. What's your take? You've known Michael Oku, obviously, very well for a very long time. What's your take on the current condition, both physical and mental, of Michael Oku?
That's a tough one to answer, because on both levels. So on one level, physically, Michael Oku's hurting. He's been through a war with Ricky Knight Jr., but it's not. I don't think what people realise is when you're the undisputed British heavyweight champion, there's a weight on your shoulders. And we've seen Michael Oku's championship reign starting from when he won the #1 contendership from Ricky Knight Jr. in October of last year. And look at the contests he's had since that point as champion, the defenses he's had as champion. And you're talking about one called Manders, you're talking about David Francisco, you're talking about Liam Slater, you're talking about TK Cooper. These have been physical, not just the matches themselves, but also the road to the matches have been very physical. It's been very mentally demanding for him as well. And he's been doing all of this whilst traveling around the globe, representing Revolution Pro Wrestling. And it's hard, with the weight of the world on your shoulders, and after each contest it's almost like a little bit more gets taken away, a little bit more gets taken away, a little bit more gets taken away. But if you were to ask Michael Oku the question, or ask me the question, when was Michael Oku last 100%, I would say I don't know. And that dates back to when he first broke into Revolution Pro Wrestling. That dates back to when he was going for that undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship. I'll never forget the sight of Michael Oku leant against the wall. Like, everything had been packed down. It was after Michael Oku went for the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship against El Phantasmo for the first time. And Michael Oku was against the wall at York Hall after everything had been packed down. The medics were still treating him and wound up having to get blue lit away to a hospital, And so, like I say, he's not been 100% for a long time. And
it kind of feels like this would be the opportune time where his title reign just finished. Have a rest, try and recover physically and mentally. But of course, we know we're less than 4 weeks away from the anniversary weekend. Lots of other big events coming up, but it's a fool's errand to try and convince Michael Oku to have a rest.
It is, and Michael Oku knows that, you know, any moment could be his last moment in Revolution Pro Wrestling. Is like, you know, he's without a doubt the hottest free agent in professional wrestling today, and he wants to make every second, every moment count. And he is. When you think about Revolution Pro Wrestling, you think about Michael Oku. He's synonymous with that name, and he personifies what Rev Pro is all about. You know, each and every time he steps out there. So you understand the weight of pressure on his shoulder, and when we break it down like that, you can start to understand exactly why it's so important for him. You know, why he could have called in sick today. I think everyone after seeing that war on Friday would have been absolutely understanding of the situation, but that's not Michael Oku's style. He wants to get back on the horse, and he wants to get himself back into contention for the Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship. Now, as far as the mental side of it goes, you said it's uncharacteristic of Michael Oku, but I would say it's not uncharacteristic of Michael Oku. I would say we've seen this side of him before. We saw it against Leighton Buzzard when he held on to the half crowd after the match, and the match got overturned. We've seen him lose his cool.
Not for a long time, though. Not like that.
Not like that, no. But when you lose something which is close to you, and when you've got someone under your skin, and I feel like Liam Slater, we know he's a master psychologist. We know that when we talk about the game of human chess, look, he's masterminded Leon Slater's rise to prominence, you know, and look, Leon Slater's 20 years old, and look how good he is, and the base of that knowledge came from Liam Slater. And Leon makes no secret of that fact. He champions that fact. Okay, and I think that if it wasn't for Leon championing that fact, I don't think we'd even know, because Liam Slater's there almost in the shadows. Right. And I think that for that contest that Michael Oku and Leon Slater had at High Stakes this past April, and if you haven't seen it, I urge you to check it out. It's one of the best professional wrestling matches I've ever had the privilege of watching live. But they went into that contest and they thought they had the perfect formula. They thought they had the answers. They thought they had the perfect strategy for combating Michael Oku. And Michael Oku, just when they thought they knew the answers, Michael Oku changed the question. And I think that Liam Slater has gone away retrospectively with the benefit of hindsight, and he's picked apart everything that makes Michael Oku who he is. And he's realized, he said it himself, Michael Oku's greatest attribute is his heart, but his greatest attribute is also his biggest weakness. And he's discovered that. He now knows how to get under Michael Oku's skin, and because of that, Michael Oku is more vulnerable than he's ever been before. So that's what I find so intriguing about it. And perhaps if Michael Oku was against anyone other than Liam Slater tonight, he would have been okay. But Liam Slater knew how to...
He knew exactly what buttons to
push those buttons.
100%.
Yeah, and obviously we're
going to... pushed them hard.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And
especially after the comments afterwards were over a line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like we know Liam... Should we say he's a selfless professional wrestler? But he cares. He's made no secret. Leon Slater is his star student. Leon Slater is the gem. And he will protect him at all costs. And he will do whatever he can to give Leon Slater the advantage. And I have a lot of talks with Liam, because Liam is involved in a lot of negotiations around Leon Slater's appearances here in Revolution Pro Wrestling. And Liam has made it very clear that he feels that Leon should be presented as the face of Revolution Pro Wrestling. And I think in many ways, Liam sees what Michael Oku has and wants that for his protege. He wants that for his trainee. He wants that for his, like I say, the gem of the Slater dojo, so to speak.
Now, whatever Leon Slater might want, whatever Liam Slater or Michael Oku might want, whatever any of us might want, the current face of Revolution Pro Wrestling is the new undisputed British heavyweight champion, Ricky Knight Jr. And we saw another typical display of just how unpredictable he can be as he attacks Shah Samuels after Samuels' win over Connor Mills tonight. Samuels and indeed Harry took several Rikishi drivers. I'm sure Samuels will be hurting, but we think he's going to recover. He is going on holiday over the next couple of weeks. He wanted to do that to clear his head ahead of that huge match where he's put his career on the line, that he tries to regain the undisputed British heavyweight title at our anniversary weekend against Knight. Talk us through that. It's an interesting situation. Obviously, I know Samuels came to you to ask if it was okay for him to do that. You and I both know him well. Why do you think Shah has decided, rather than keeping on having matches like the matches he's had this weekend against Mills and Joshua, why has he decided to take a slightly unorthodox approach and to rest rather than to stay in ring shape, if you like?
Well, look, this is layered, and me and Shah go back a long time. We filmed earlier today a little chat with each other, inspired by your chat with Shah, which obviously I urge everyone to go out their way to look at. And I said, like, we've not really spoken in depth, especially, approaching what could be his last professional wrestling match. I don't know how many opportunities we're going to get to chat about, the past, because look, you don't know what the outcome of a match and how Shah is coming out of that match. We don't know how that's going to be, and I'm not suggesting physically, because we know he'll recover, but like, I'm talking about mentally. And I think that's in Shah's mindset as well, and that's why when we spoke, and he gave me a bit more insight today as to why he did it. And look, I'll let you look. We use this as a cheap plug to say check that out whenever it drops. But what I will say is, if this is Shah's last wrestling match, or if Shah's going to put something on the line, such as a professional wrestling career, which dates back over 20 years, which has seen him do everything there is to achieve in the world of professional wrestling, if Shah's going to put that all on the line, then the least we can do is afford him the preparation the way he wants to do it. He's proven he's not afraid. He's proven that he's willing to go in and step in against the very best. And he's done that this weekend against Jay Joshua, against Conor Mills. And he's proven how durable he is. He's proven how tough he is. And he's done it countless times across the years. And I feel that it's only fair, like I say, to afford him the opportunity to approach this match the way he sees fit. And he's made it clear he's not going to rest. He's going to train. And he's going to be there with his family. He's going to relax. Much like fighters often take themselves out of a scenario before a big fight, that's what Shah's doing. He doesn't want to be around he wants to be able to focus, and you're going to have to focus, because what Ricky Knight Jr. is bringing, like I called it the other day, I called it monster mentality, that championship mentality, that monster mentality of Ricky Knight Jr. So Shah needs to get his head in the right space ahead of that contest. So is like I say, however we break it down, and I'm sure we're going to break it down multiple times over the next few weeks as we head towards the 13-year anniversary shows. But like, however we break it down, this is a fascinating, complex, and delicate scenario. And each man's going to want to prepare for that in their own way.
Now, this summer of Rev Pro very much rolling on and continuing to be like a runaway freight train, it feels like at times. Next week, we're back in London with the 229 for the last time.
Well, I want to say it's going to be a history-making night. This is our last ever show at the 229. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not our last show in London. As we said, we're moving to Portchester Hall from September. But this is our last ever Rev Pro event live from a 229 in London. So if you've watched it on the on-demand and never been before, or if you've been to an event at the 229 and you love the venue and you've seen all those great crazy moments and memories that we've had across the 229, then I recommend you come out next Sunday and we see it off in style, because obviously not just the fact that we're going to see it off in style, but as you know, it's super fight season here in Revolution Pro Wrestling.
I want to talk a little bit about the Great British Tag League, because that's started to pick up steam as well. We saw a couple more matches there tonight with victories for GYV and for the Sons of Southampton.
As we get closer and closer, it becomes more exciting to unpack. And we look at all the possible scenarios and mouth-watering scenarios. But one thing we know for sure is that in the Block A scenario, the team that is head of the pack right now is Zach Gibson and James Drake, GYP.
Yeah, but Block A has an unknown quantity. There's the Cowboy.
Absolutely.
They haven't had any matches yet. Can you tell us when we're going to see them?
They do. So, well, first of all, what I'd say is yes, they are an unknown quantity. But as they always say, it's great to have the points on the board. You'd rather have the points on the board. As a Tottenham fan, you don't really know what it's like to have points on the board, but it's great to have points on the board, right? And I think that's something that's important to remember. But yes,
winning trophies.
But Cowboy Way. One called Manders, Thomas Shire, they'll be making their return to Revolution Pro Wrestling. It's been announced by GWF. They're going to be a part of our joint show, the Double Impact weekend in 2 weeks' time in Germany, in Berlin. And they're going to have 2 first-round matches Block A matches in Berlin that weekend. We're going to see him against the Flying Bryant brothers, and we're going to see a mouth-watering clash as Cowboy Way go up against the Young Guns. So that's going to be happening in Berlin at Double Impact, and there'll be other tag league matches there as well, which we shan't reveal just yet, but things will be starting to shake out. We will, when we get to the end of that Double Impact weekend, we'll have a better idea of where things are headed. Of course, the final weekend of the Tag League will take place in Southampton, just 1 week away from the 13-year anniversary shows.
And lastly, I do want to talk about the anniversary because, as we know, we're now less than 4 weeks away from that massive weekend.
Scary, isn't it?
It's starting to take some kind of shape. Obviously, we know about Ricky Knight Jr. and Charles Samuels. We know we're going to get the finals of the Great British Tag League. Can you give us anything else? How's it looking? What are you thinking?
It's looking good. We sold a lot of tickets, and I advise everyone gets involved. It's our biggest and most exciting shows of the year.
I was hoping for something more specific. Can you give us any, bit more info?
We're working on the 14-year anniversary shows already.
I'm trying.
Listen. Can I give you some insight? Should we say I'll give you some insight after next week's?
Okay, that's on camera
next week's recap. But what I will say is keep your eyes peeled because we may be announcing stuff this week as well. We've got phone calls. Tomorrow and on Tuesday. At the conclusion of those, we will have a much better idea of where things line up. But I'm excited, Dave. I nearly swore I'm not.
We're all excited, but we're going to hold you to it this week. If we don't see I need to see some announcements. I need to see
if we don't see some announcements, we're going to complain.
I'm going to lose my mind.
We're going to complain on Twitter.
I'm going to write a strongly worded message. Yeah. Anyway, Andy, we'll let you get back to work. I know there's still stuff to do here. Thanks as always for joining us. See you next weekend for the one last time at the 229.
Absolutely, and I want to apologise as well because I seem to be getting this. I feel like this Red Pro recap is going to be like the fall of Andy Quildan because you see me progressively going lower and lower downhill as the weeks.
Your physical condition,
of your eyes, the bags under the eyes, the sweat from the brow. But I'm still here.
Summer of Red Pro, baby. We're working hard.
Can't wait for the winter.
All right, we'll see you next week.